kind of the biggest battle for, I guess, the linebacker core, kind of that third starting linebacker spot?
It would be our Mike position, yeah, our middle spot, Jewel spot, yeah.
Do you,
Yeah.
or right now, is there kind of a favorite for the position?
No, would have no idea who it would be if we played tomorrow.
Is it, I think from the outside looking in, it kind of looks like maybe your top candidates are like Tymar, maybe Ryan Vance. Who's in the running for the job, I
so
guess?
the guys that are working there right now are Tymar Sutton, Orion Vance, Cordarius Bailey, and Jared Gescheidler. If we had to play tomorrow, probably none of those four would be the Mike. So
Who would it be?
it would probably be one of the guys that's doing really well right now as a backup. Regan Northrup's doing really well. So if we were going to get our three best guys on the field, which we would do, it would be Willie, Regan, and Marcel. And then those are the three best right now.
What are you kind of looking for when it comes to filling that opening?
Well, Joel Lanning would be great. Yeah, that would help us considerably. But
You got a year from Kempt.
we don't have him. So Real Mitchell's the candidate. He came early as a quarterback, so maybe we can make another transition.
What? It's obviously a long ways till September 1st, though.
Yeah.
What needs to happen with guys like Orion or Tymar? What are the biggest growth
Yeah,
areas?
they just need to continue to get reps. Both really young guys. One's younger than the other, working really hard. All of them are working really hard. They're seeing a lot of things for the first time, but nobody's doing poorly. I didn't want it to sound like that at all. It's just, those. They're young guys, and even though things were happening for the first time to Joel Lanning, he's a older veteran guy that's been through a lot of different things. So, it's just a matter of handling things differently, that's all.
How different is the situation for you this year as opposed to last year, where this year now doesn't seem like there are as many question marks? You've got some established guys now.
Yeah, I'm still really nervous, I guess. We're trying to build depth. You're always one injury away from scrambling a little bit, I think. Even though at times, this time last year we had some unknowns, it's just a matter of having confidence, whether it's the guys that are in there or whether it's us as coaches having confidence in them. And it's not a matter of fact of giving effort or working really hard. Those aren't the things we're coaching now, which is good. So it's just a function of knowing what to do all the time when things are moving really fast.
What's next for Marcel this season in terms of building off last season?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. We had our banquet last night and talked about a guy that a couple really important seniors obviously going through. And Jack Spreen was able to grade out at over 90% in almost 500 special teams plays. So we didn't have anybody at linebacker do that. So I think it's a function of being like that, being a 90% guy all the time. So that's really important for us too at those three spots. So hopefully consistency will come about a little bit for those guys that have played in some games.
How is Regan? We didn't really hear much about last year, and then Coach Campbell said he's got not to sleep on this year, that he doesn't get talked about much, but he's emerged.
For sure, he has. He battled some. He was out last spring, so he had a surgery and missed all the spring football and got back really right at the start almost of camp, and then battled some things through the season physically, and then we moved him from the boundary to the field about a third of the way through. So in defense of Regan, he's had some things that he's had to work through physically, and it has also changed spots too, but has worked extremely hard, not just physically, but in mentally and knowing his assignments and his responsibilities. And if we were picking a guy right now, at least in my group, our linebacker group, he would be the guy thus far that has emerged as, wow, who's doing the best right now through 4 practices? It would be him.
Does having guys like Willie or Marcel or even Regan, guys who have played in games, does that help the middle linebacker spot, or is it so different to get those guys along that it doesn't necessarily translate?
Yeah, it does for sure. Our older guys are doing a great job of working with the younger guys too, and it's a confidence thing, it's a repetition thing. But our older guys, on the field as well as off, are working with those guys. And it's certainly a benefit to have as many guys as you can that have been through the fire a little bit, on Saturdays. That can help everybody. So that's certainly a benefit for us. Yeah.
Is Jake Hummel more of an outside guy?
He is, yep. And Jake's had a really good start. Jake's had a really good start and benefited from, running down on all 4 special teams all through the season. So that's another function of a guy that really would have more experience than some other guys based on being in some huge games and running down on kickoff and protecting on punt and doing those things that are really important for us too. Yeah.
I know it was mostly on special teams for Jake, but what was it about him that stood out last year that made you guys want to use him right away?
Well, he's as a young guy, was physically probably ahead of the curve a little bit, with just physical strength and the ability to run. So that got him noticed quickly. And then Jake's also a smart guy, so that helps him, pick some things up maybe a little bit quicker than most younger guys would. So because he is able to retain and study and has an idea, and also a guy that came from a really good high school program that played in a lot of football games in high school, so he probably played in more games his last 2 seasons. Maybe some guys played in 4 years of high school, so that he definitely benefited from that as well.
When you look at